Hi, everybody. This is David Nevins for Citybiz List, and welcome to our program again today. And we're continuing today with another of our conversations in conjunction with the Bridge Alliance, which feature the topic, Repairing America's Broken Democracy. I think that's something we'd all like to see happen. And our guest today is Annafi Wahed. And Annafi is the CEO and founder of an organization called The Flip Side. Annafi, welcome to our program.
Hi, David. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
It's totally our pleasure. So The Flip Side, great name. People think it often refers to other things. So what does it actually refer to in this particular case?
So we are on a mission to do the impossible to bridge the gap between liberals and conservatives. So we've been in operation for a few years. Our newsletter goes out to about 250,000 people each morning, and we bring together the best arguments from liberal and conservative media. We say we're a bipartisan media startup, but actually we're equally partisan. So I bring my liberal bias, my co-founder brings this conservative bias, and we do our best to bring the flip side, so to speak, to our readers each morning. And I'm really excited to be here specifically now because we're just weeks away from launching a new platform where liberals and conservatives can hopefully have saner conversations than they might have on other platforms. So really excited to be here and tell you all about that.
Yeah, so I'm excited to hear more about it. I am sad to say I'm not yet one of the 250,000 who get your morning email, but maybe we can fix that. In the meantime, so give us a couple of examples, Annafi, of some topics and how do you approach that? And with one side being to the left and the other side being to the right. And do you ever have a centrist perspective as well?
Great questions. We have tried to have a centrist/moderate section multiple times in the past, but unfortunately, the two sides can't really agree on who's centrist or moderate anymore. We do show that when the two sides agree on a topic, so for example, in Ukraine, the two sides have been largely united in their support. Another topic is, taking on big tech. Both sides are very unsatisfied with the way that things are going in the tech industry right now. So whenever there is agreement, we love to highlight those. But on a given day, usually it's, sort of two echo chambers talking to each other. We covered crime, rising crime rates, and what could be done to solve the problem, whether it's the progressive activists' fault or, the GOP's party's fault for demonizing the protesters, right? Those are two very different perspectives. We covered the student test scores that have been going down and what could be done about it, right? Should we have opened schools faster? Should we have, given more leeway to the teachers union or less leeway? Those are complex questions that we think deserve our undivided attention, which is why we focus on one topic a day.
So are you a, what's the term, I guess, a news aggregator or?
Yes, we're curators.
You're not, or do you have your own writers presenting their own points of view?
We're curators, not editorialists. So we fact check and curate op-eds from both liberal and conservative media and bring it all together for you in a 5-minute digest.
And is it primarily op-eds as opposed to straight news stories?
Correct. So we have the left take and the right take. We focus on one topic a day. We give you the facts up top so you know what's going on, right? In case you woke up and didn't realize that the UK had a new prime minister yet again, we inform you first of what actually happened before we get to the op-eds.
So give me a couple of examples of your favorite, or let's just say your most viewed topics in the course of the past several months.
Oh, gosh, that's, midterm, the horse race, right, unfortunately, is a big one. So we covered the LA race and some of the recent controversy. They tend to be big hits. This was more than a few months ago, but I really like to highlight the ways in which that we're bridging the gap. When the defund the police movement first started, there were so many people that misunderstood what the movement was about. And so we really brought the meeting and brought in-depth coverage of the defund the movement protests that I think a lot of people reacted positively to. And they said, okay, well, I still don't agree with what's being said, but now I understand where things are coming from. Unfortunately, you would think, political commentators would come up with better slogans, but that's not usually the case. So we really try to almost translate, right? Like the two sides use different language. Even when we cover immigration, the left says, undocumented immigrants. The right sometimes says illegal aliens. So the language itself has changed and evolved in the two sides. And we really do our best to be accurate in our reporting of what each side is saying, but at the same time, highlighting in what in our view is the most thoughtful and well-articulated arguments.
And certainly we've seen examples, at least throughout recent history, probably throughout history, of how, just a few short words, pro-life, pro-choice, just the language that we choose to use almost in the beginning automatically sets up the divide that you're trying to bridge, right?
Exactly. And abortion is a very good example where there actually is a lot of common ground if you look at both the polling data and the politicians, right? The majority of the country thinks abortion should be legal in the first trimester. It's a little bit split in the second trimester, and the majority doesn't think it should be legal unless there are extenuating circumstances in the third trimester. So this is an issue that actually isn't, binary in the way that it's portrayed in the media.
Yeah, then we don't need to get into that, but it's pretty clear what the public wants, and yet our elected officials, our politicians, love to just play one side against the other. Annafi, tell me a little bit about this new platform and how it will enhance what you're doing at the flip side.
Yes, so we're really excited. So to back up for a bit, right? Over millennia, we humans have evolved, and we have evolved mostly in real life settings. And when we think about bringing people together, whether it's our friends or our coworkers, we say, oh, should we host it at my place or a cafe or rent out a hall? What about the music and the food? We do so much curation when we bring people together in real life. Contrast that with our experience of bringing people together on the internet, right? Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg just threw in thousands and millions and now billions of people together in one place and said, I'm sure everything will be great. What we are doing is creating a platform specifically for news and civic dialogue. So true to our newsletter now, we will stay focused on one topic a day, give you the facts, additional resources, and curated takes from both liberal and conservative media. We will also have prompts that will encourage users to really think about the issues and speak from their personal experience and share their knowledge. And also, we are rethinking the whole design and incentive structure. So when a user first signs onto our new platform, they will be asked, do you lean left? Do you lean right? If they lean left and someone else leans right, if they are having a conversation, we're going to highlight that conversation. If a single post is getting votes from both left-leaning and right-leaning users that it's helpful, that's also going to be prioritized. We're also going to be rolling out next year something called Ambassador of the Week. So I lean left. If I posted a few things that received a lot of helpful votes from those on the other side, I will become the Ambassador of the Week. So these are all the ways in which we're just rethinking and reimagining online communities to serve specifically the needs that we are focused on. It's really easy to demonize Facebook and Twitter. I do it all the time. But at the end of the day, they're catering to thousands of different communities and different kinds of interactions, right? Your neighborhood watch group and your book club and your Dungeons and Dragons and your friends planning a birthday party. And also that, conversation about abortion. All of that can't happen in the same place, just as in real life, we don't go to the library to have a dance party and we don't go to the club to read a book. So we're creating a vertical specifically for news and civic dialogue.
And, I think that's fascinating. As you well know, let's use just Facebook as an example. They've been criticized quite a bit of late with regard to the fact that, if you're looking for a topic and if you once they learn that you might be left-leaning, they feed you more information that is left-leaning. But it strikes me that once they learned that you were left-leaning, if they were if they reprogram to feed you right-leaning information, then they'd be accused of trying to change your position. So, they're in a tough spot, somewhat between a rock and a hard place.
Exactly. And it's really hard to do these things well, right? We are actively designing for bipartisanship and very vocal about that, right? But they're trying to be a quote unquote neutral platform, which is a whole different can of worms.
Yeah, and neutrality is different than bipartisanship. So where do you hope that this goes, and how are you funded? Where do the dollars come from?
Great question. So we're actually a for-profit corporation. One of our other theories of change is we never want to rely on ads or, sort of specific donors with their pet causes and pet beliefs about what we're doing. We had a wonderful seed investor invest some initial funding 2 years ago. We have since launched premium membership and also doing some advertising on the side we're looking to move away from. As we build this platform, we're very focused on it being just open to premium subscribers. We're actually crowdfunding right now. You can go to wefunder.com/theflipside. It's not open to the public yet, but if you're watching this video, you can get in early. Our platform is about bolstering democracy. So we really believe in bringing that to the fundraising round as well. We need an engaged community. We need people who believe in us. We need the people who are going to be using this platform, who believe in this platform, to also have a stake in our success. The goal is, so social science says that it takes 3.5% of the population to really create change. So if there's, 150 million voters in the US, we want to get to 3.5% in the next 2 years to really change the tone of the political discourse. If you're watching the midterm elections right now, you know how awful the, political attack ads are. You know how awful the last presidential election were. We are worried, yes, about the election day, but we're equally worried about the day after and the week after. How can we heal as a nation if these election cycles continue to become more vitriolic? So we're focused on getting to millions of users in the next 2 years.
So other than the crowdfunding part, you are a subscription service, essentially?
Correct. Yes.
So how does one learn more about you, and how does one potentially subscribe?
Great questions. You can go to our homepage, which is theflipside.io. Once more, that's theflipside.io. And if you want to learn more about our fundraising raise, it's wefunder.com/theflipside.
And Annafi, just before I let you go, it seems to me that one of the big chores you have, who's in charge of selecting the topic every day, and how is that determined? And do your readers have input into that?
That is a great question. So as you can imagine, during some weeks, some people really want to cover the economy or gas prices, and other weeks some really want to cover the crime rates. And so there's a lot of tug and pull, which is why it's really important that we have a bipartisan team. So in addition to me and my co-founder, we also have a team of contributors who come from all across the political spectrum. And we come together and we say, what is the left talking about? What is the right talking about, right? FoxNews.com and MSNBC.com have very different focuses on any given day. So it's really it's an art, not a science. And part of the premium membership, we hope to actually bring in our readers. So each night we will poll them and say, hey, what do you want us to cover tomorrow morning? So that'll be one more thing to look forward to next year.
Well, that's terrific. We wish you much success. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This has been great.
And our guest today has been Annafi Wahed, and she is the co-founder of The Flip Side. So check it out if you're so inclined, and you'll get a little bit of news from the left and a little bit of news from the right. Might be a good thing for all of us to see the other side. Annafi, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
This has been David Nevins for Citybiz List, and on behalf of the Bridge Alliance, continuing with our discussions, which we call Repairing America's Broken Democracy. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time.